So I was just now looking over a video of mine where I talked about how to more accurately assess how long something is going to take, particularly something that is complex like a project or has many parts, like maybe passing a class. And I realized that while I gave some kind of concepts, I didn't really break down how to figure out the quantity, the amount of time it would take. So I want to go to something I'm more familiar with, which might be like starting a YouTube channel, because that's what I'm doing. Now, on the outset, you might think you're just going to make some videos, and you might think it'll take me about 30 minutes to record the video, 2 hours to edit it, 15 minutes to publish it. Boom. Okay, so one thing you can do if this is the case for you is draw on previous experience. So if you have recorded videos before, if you have done editing before, or if you have uploaded stuff before, then you can draw on that and kind of base your assessment of how long a thing will take on your previous experience. On the other hand, if you haven't ever, then you're going to want to do one of two or possibly both things, which are to give it a try, excuse me, and actually record how long it takes. And the second is to estimate. Maybe there's something similar you've done. So maybe you've uploaded a song, or maybe you've recorded audio before, or maybe you've edited somebody else's work. And so you can kind of draw off of that. If not, obviously there's plenty of sources on the internet. Definitely look at more than one and get a kind of median amount. Say, okay, it seems like it takes most people about 15 minutes of recording for every 2 or 3 minutes of actual footage. And then it seems to take anywhere from 4 to 10 times that amount to edit it. And you'll probably want to be on the more conservative side and assume it's going to take longer than it is, because that way, if it doesn't take quite as long, you're pleasantly surprised. But the second part is that you want to really hone in on the nitty gritty. So let's say, I'm thinking I'm going to start a YouTube channel. I'm going to upload, 3 to 4 minute videos once a week. So, 3 to 4 minute video, what is that, like 5 minutes of recording? I just push the play button and then I edit it. It should take about half an hour, and maybe I need 5 or 10 minutes to get it published. Well, what you need to do then is visualize. You need to sit where you are, someplace quiet, where you can use your creative juices to really nail this thing down. Because think about it. Let's say I want to make my first video on free games off of Steam, or demo games. I'm going to review them. Okay, you're not going to just push the record button and start talking. There's going to be a planning stage, a preparation stage. So think of that as stage one. And what is that stage? Well, that stage is you'll need to be familiar with the content that you're going to talk about. So in this case, you'll need to play the game. You'll need to maybe take some notes on the game, the pros and cons of it. You may need to create a dialogue. Some people can go off the cuff, kind of like I'm doing. Some people need or want to be prepared. And you'll have to think, okay, where am I going to do this? What's my setup? Am I going to need some lighting behind me? Am I going to be changing the background? Do I need to actually move my camera or PC or whatever I'm going to use to a different location? Do I need to scout? Is that going to be part of this whole project? Looking into where and when I can do these things. Am I going to need to find more equipment? Am I going to need to learn how to use that equipment? So there are all these pieces that should be taken into consideration, and then estimations of how long those are going to take need to be taken into consideration. Finally, there's the before I get into that, stage two is the stuff that you probably initially primarily would think about, which is the recording and the editing and the uploading. But then there's also typically a stage three, which is, okay, now that I'm done, is there anything else I need to do? So in my case, I have a list, for example, of content or video titles and things like this that I want to get up. So I make sure that that's updated. I look at what would be next, and I kind of loosely plan for that next one. I update a calendar. I also frequent other social media platforms, Reddit especially. So I might say, okay, when am I gonna not upload, but post some content on there related to this video I just made. And then I might, like I did today, go over my videos and say, okay, was there anything I missed, anything I could have improved? So really there's this whole cycle, this iterative process that's a lot more involved than you might think, particularly if you've never done the thing before. And I would definitely recommend, when you're starting out, if you, for example, are pretty new to time management or haven't done very well before, or if you're thinking of a project that you haven't done before, go in about half-hour increments, preferably rounding up. So if you think, for example, editing is going to take about 40 minutes, assume it's going to take an hour. As you get more and more experience with this, you can start reducing those increments, maybe 15-minute intervals, 10, 5, depending on how precise you are, maybe even a couple minutes, but I don't really go any less than, say, 5 minutes. Anyway, I hope that was a helpful addition, and I'll be back with some more time management basics eventually.